In 1974, a fighter jet took off for the first time, and by accident, it flew. Not on purpose, not according to plan. The pilot was only supposed to be doing high-speed taxi tests, but the aircraft was so twitchy, so hypersensitive, that it lifted off the runway before anyone told it to. That accident didn't get the program cancelled. It proved the entire theory behind the jet was right. This is the story of the aircraft that took the rulebook of aerial combat and threw it out the cockpit window. To understand why this jet mattered, you have to understand what came before it. By the late 1960s, American fighter doctrine had a serious problem. Planners believed the future of air combat was missiles, long-range, radar-guided, fire and forget. Dogfighting, they said, was obsolete. They were wrong. Over the skies of Vietnam, American F-4 Phantoms, fast, powerful, missile-armed, were getting shredded by smaller, nimbler MiG-17s and MiG-21s. The missiles missed more than they hit, and when the fight turned into a turning, twisting knife fight at close range, the heavier American jets were losing. Enter a maverick Air Force colonel named John Boyd, a man so combative and obsessive that colleagues called him 42nd Boyd, because he'd bet anyone he could beat them in a dogfight simulation in under 40 seconds. He never lost that bet. Boyd developed something called energy maneuverability theory, a mathematical way of measuring a fighter's ability to turn, accelerate, and climb all at once, instead of judging jets by top speed alone. His conclusion was almost heretical. Bigger, faster, and more expensive did not mean better in a dogfight. What won fights was agility, the ability to change direction and energy state faster than the enemy could react. Boyd and a small group of engineers, nicknamed the Fighter Mafia, pushed for a small, lightweight, cheap fighter built around this idea. The Pentagon brass hated it. They built it anyway. The result was the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon, and it broke almost every convention of fighter design at the time. First, it was intentionally unstable. Most aircraft are built to naturally want to fly straight and level. That's what makes them stable and easy to fly. The F-16 was built with relaxed static stability, meaning it was aerodynamically unstable on purpose. Left alone, it would tumble out of the sky in seconds. Why would anyone do that? Because an unstable airframe is a wildly responsive one. It doesn't fight the pilot's inputs. It reacts to them instantly. When the F-16 entered service in 1978, it didn't just give the U.S. a new fighter. It rewrote what a fighter jet was supposed to be. Every modern fighter built since, the F-22, the F-35, the Eurofighter Typhoon, the Rafale, the Gripen, uses fly-by-wire flight controls and relaxed stability as standard practice. What was once an experimental gamble became the industry baseline. It also proved that a smaller, cheaper aircraft could outperform a larger, more expensive one in the role that mattered most, not by brute force, but by being smarter and more responsive. That lesson reshaped how air forces around the world thought about cost, agility, and design philosophy for the next 50 years. Today, more than 4,600 F-16s have been built for over 25 countries, making it one of the most produced and widely used fighter jets in history. Decades after its first flight, it's still in production, still being upgraded, and still flying combat missions around the world. The F-16 wasn't the fastest fighter ever built. It wasn't the biggest or the most heavily armed. But it was built on a simple, radical idea that the best weapon in the sky isn't the one with the most power, it's the one that reacts first. That idea, born from a colonel who never lost a 40-second bet, didn't just win dogfights. It changed the shape of every fighter jet that came after it.